Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. I know this is a shocker because I am usually on here late, but I have been trying to do this video right here since this morning, and I'm just now getting around to being able to do it. So we are going to get into it, but first, let me say hello to Sanders RN and that girl. They were the first two lined up on this moonwalk up in here today. We also have Jackson Tabasco, Justin's mom, Call Me Shell, April B, and Bible Lady. And hello to those of you in the clouds, in the bushes, or wherever you may be. Well, there's a lot of things that have been going on Diddy related, well, actually the past this past week, and let alone the weekend, where we have the book of Kim Porter released. Now, my first instinct was going to be, oh, I'm going to order that so that I can read it online. I thought that would be cool. So that's what I was going to do. And then I thought about it and I said, who is this guy, who wrote this? That's what kind of made me pause. This what is his name? Jamal T. Millwood. So I was like, who is he? What has he written? So I go researching and I could not find a thing. Then I find out his name is Chris Todd. Now, he has a book that there is a Chris Todd who is an author. Hey, Queen Lily. And he wrote a book, something pertaining to the OJ case. But this Kim Porter book, I can't identify or relate the two Chris Todd together because there's no picture on the back of the Kim Porter book, or at least all of the ones that I have been able to find. So I do more digging and digging and digging. And the more I'm digging and the more I'm looking, the more I am hearing people question the legitimacy and credibility of the book, which is what I was doing as well. I'm always leery about unauthorized. How you doing, a lady? I am, unauthorized books about celebrities written by someone else, or an unauthorized memoir. I mean, how can you write someone's memoir if you are not authorized to do so? That's telling me you don't know that person. And when I see books like that, it also makes me think that this is either written by a disgruntled employee, someone who knows someone, a friend of a friend who knew or worked for Kim Porter, maybe, a friend's cousin's girlfriend works there, anything, anybody could have wrote this. So, it's suspect to me. So then something said, well, let's see what Al B. Sure, because we all know ever since the death of Kim Porter, Al B. Sure has been very vocal about what he thinks happened to her. And, Kamora Lee Simmons has also been dropping hints about some things with Kim Porter and Diddy. So I said, okay, well, let me go see what Al B. Sure has to say. And boy, did I find some stuff. Now, I put a few things on my community wall this morning. And what I'm going to do now is just get into a little bit of what Al B. Sure said. I'm not going to like go verbatim. I'm going to pick out some things that I want to point out that was on his Instagram. So I'm going to share this screen and we're going to get into Al B. Sure's Instagram and see what he has to say about it. And he had so much to say that he did it in three posts. He made three posts. So, we're going to get into that. Um, Let me go on over to Instagram on my phone so that I can read it and get my glasses. Now, I also want to know, has anyone heard this? I know a lot of people. How you doing, Sound Check Annette, and Trusting My Destiny? Has anybody read this book or heard about it or anything? Because I know a lot of people, they were reading it online this weekend. So a lot of you may have already heard it or some of you might even be intending to buy it. Me personally, I'm not going to give Amazon 20 some dollars on a book that may or may not be the words of a deceased person that only has 60 pages. I'm just not going to do that. But, if anyone else does, that's cool too. And if you do, let me know. Drop me a note or something and let me know what you thought about it. So, what he does is here we have this, and he does it in three parts, like I said. And here is the first part, and I'm just going to read what he said about it as soon as I find my glasses. Okay, here we go. So, and as you can see, I don't know how much you could see, but like I said, it's on his Instagram and he is official I'll be sure. And this is part one of what he had to say. And he hashtagged this to Federal Bureau of Investigations, United States Department of Justice, Drug Enforcement Administration, Central Intelligence Agency, LAPD, NYPD, LVMPD. So we're talking Las Vegas, New York, and the LAPD. He starts off in that first paragraph, and I'm not going to go too far into what he has in the first paragraph. I just want to read what stood out to me and what was interesting to me. He says, I am writing this post to formally request an investigation into an entire group of individuals who worked at or around the residence of Miss Kimberly Porter, including the publicist who assisted drafting this. It has come to my attention that these persons were also instructed to steal her computer, mobile devices, which contain her original book notes, and that's in quotation marks. Original notes are distinct from fabricated bullshit and offensive pages circulating via Amazon, which depict graphic sexual acts involving me that never took place and were edited and added after Miss Porter's tragic murder. So, as you can see, hey, I Revives, as you can see, he is very much so giving the business to anybody who really believes this trash that was written. He also says, I urge you to consider who authorized such a fictitious publication without categorizing it as calculated fiction. The publicists and conspirators worked in concert from separate camps, launching this campaign, which appears to be very personal and deliberate distraction from the involvement in covering horrific crimes assisted in and perplexed the public for many years, which I have personally experienced and cautiously deemed just as a medical crisis for legal reasons until the rest of these atrocities were uncovered by authorities, making it more believable to the gullible public that has been fooled for so long. And I totally agree with that. And my other thought with this Chris Todd, Jamal Woodmill, Millwood, whoever he is, my thought is now supposedly a friend of Kim Porter, a good friend of Kim Porter, gave him this flash drive. And, he took this flash drive and he's writing this book. Well, you know, nobody seems from Kim Porter's camp seems to know who this man, they don't know him. They might know who he is, but they don't know him like that. So I was thinking to myself the same thing, why? Who is he? Why would someone give this to him? And then I also, I know there was a lot of talk because apparently, from what I hear in the book, there was a threesome between Al B. Sure and Diddy and Kim Porter, which, he is saying is not true. Um, and I kind of agree with the words that Al B. Sure said thus far about said book. I'm thinking he had, and mind you, this author who has his name and Kim Porter's name on the book. And by the way, she was a very beautiful lady. Why he chose that picture to put on the cover, I don't know. But why they would choose to share this with him, but he doesn't have a manuscript. He doesn't have anything to prove that this is what he has and where he got it from. He has nothing, no proof. And to me, and this is why I'm not going to get the book, because, and I'm not trying to talk about anybody who does, but I feel like Kim Porter was an abused woman, both physically and mentally. There are a lot of victims out there that has suffered by Sean Combs. And I don't want to further, um, I guess, contribute to the trauma that her friends and family, especially her children, may go through as a result of this alleged memoir that Kim Porter penned. You know, hey, I'm free to be me. I mean, it sounds really good, and it sounded good at the time when I first heard about Kim Porter's book. It sounded good, but things just aren't adding up to me. How are you doing, Queen Black? Queen Black says, I have an opinion who he's working with. Now, when I'm done, all that I'm going to go through, I am going to drop the link for everybody so that you can give your opinions on what you think, especially if you've read the book. So, hey, Lovejoy. So, like I was saying, to me, there's no credibility. I would be okay if I knew Kamora Lee Simmons, had this flash drive or some close friend in her family or a camp or something. But this unknown person, I don't mean any harm in what I'm getting ready to say, this white man pinned, that's all I'm saying. I mean, I don't mean no harm, but I mean, come on. They gave it to him. There was nobody who was already even established as an author that they could give this to. Nobody. Okay. So anyway, we are going to go into the next post that I'll be sure put up on his Instagram, and I'm going to read that. Oh, there we go. Uh, where am I? Let me find my place, y'all. And like I said, I'm not going to read everything that he wrote, but I will read what he said. And also, what I found interesting, the comments that were over there from people who apparently knew her, knew him, knew their story and her story. That feels pretty much like this book is garbage. It says Miss Porter's missing device, allegedly already in evidence, unquestionably contains the critical evidence that has been concealed. I'm convinced that evidence corroborates closely with details outlined in the recent released public indictment document. Additionally, it is pertinent to note that the individuals involved in this matter may also be connected to concealing the alleged murders of several prominent artists, a situation that has left many bewildered, yet those who are immersed in the culture and familiar with the inconsistencies of the entertainment, no, I'm sorry, atrocities of the entertainment industry may have a clear understanding of the obvious. So that's what he wrote on the second entry. There's more to it, but like I said, I'm just going to read a little bit of it just to give you an idea of what is going through his head. And like I said, I don't blame him. And I'm glad that someone is publicly speaking up and talking about um, what is being said with this book, and that it wasn't just me being suspicious of this man, this Chris Todd man who wrote the book. So in this last post he wrote, unfortunately, Kimberly was taken from us way too soon, and before she could complete her true thoughts, before this fake, unauthorized edit released on Amazon, and he capitalizing that stuff, which the disappearance of her computer and vital evidence raises significantly more questions It is evident that her potential to expose the realities of her personal abuse, being drugged, the sex trafficking and human trafficking she was privy to, akin to the brave actions of Miss Cassie Ventura, posed a threat to those profiting from such heinous activities. In a nutshell, Kimberly was allegedly taken from us because she was set on a course to accomplish what Miss Cassie Ventura did by igniting the bonfire, which brings us here today with the avalanche that has brought Satan to their chambers. So that is from the Instagram of I'll Be Sure. And I believe him before I believe this man who Kim Porter allegedly, friend allegedly gave him a flash drive of. I mean, I'm just saying, I would rather take his word for it. Um, right, a lady. And that's pretty much what Al Be Sure is saying. A lady says it feels like it was written by an enemy of Kim's, not a friend. Yeah, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. And the notion that, I'll be sure and Kim Porter and Diddy have had a threesome, that's just too far fetched. I even heard somebody say that I'll be sure confirmed that this book was factual and the truth, which he has not. He confirms that she was working on the book, which is something we all heard before she passed away. But the trash, as he calls it, that has been released on Amazon is not her work. It is something that has been edited, embellished, whatever you want to say. And like I said before, a few minutes ago, why this man? Who picked this man to pin this or recreate, reconstruct, whatever you want to say? Who picked him to do that? I just want to bring attention to my community wall where I put a post that is from someone named, let me pull that up, someone by the name of Brown Girl Growing. And it's at Lauren LaRosa. And she talks about the book that is not an authorized manuscript. And she further goes on to say that this man, Chris Todd, has no connection to Kim Porter or her family, and notes that Todd was unable to provide any verifiable evidence to support his claims regarding the existence of the manuscript. Todd alleges that he'd been given her diary entries via flash drive from one of her friends following her passing. And the last part says important to note that Kim's best friend, Ebony Electra, publicly addressed this issue on July 31st. And there's a link to actually go to Ebony's post, which I did. Now, I didn't post that, but I can just, I did. You know how it is when you're trying to, how somebody puts a story up and you're trying to, capture everything that they put in the post before it disappears. Well, that's what I was trying to do. So forgive me, but it starts off by saying, I'm going to say this as loud as I can. Kim Porter never drafted or wrote a book. And another interesting part that she has on there, a quick lesson allegedly means when something is said to be true, but it's not been verified. So, you can follow those links if you'd like. And let me see, what else did I find? I found something on Twitter that I found interesting by someone called at Storm Alamac that says, wait, who is Jamal T. Millwood? Because I definitely remember that being Tupac's alleged alias. So I found that interesting. Now, I like Tupac. I'm into Tupac, but now I don't know um, if this is one of his aliases. But if somebody said it, hey, it's a possibility. But I just thought it was interesting. And I put that on my community wall as well. So, what I am going to do now is get this out of my way, and I'm going to put the link in so that if there is anybody who wants to come up and say what they've got to say or have read the book, to go on, or at least heard excerpts or the entire thing, you can come on up. Um, yeah, as usual, I forgot to get the link so that I can drop the link. So I'm going to retrieve the link and drop it for everyone. And you can go on ahead and pull up if you'd like. I want to know what you think about the book. If you think it's really her words, if you think that, what am I doing? If you think that these are really her words, if she really said these things, if a friend really gave this to this man who allegedly wrote the book, I want to know it all. I want to know everything you feel. I think I did this link already. Did I? No, I didn't. Okay. Yeah, I got to get the link. I thought I had sent it to myself, but I didn't. So now I've got to do that. Uh, and I am really, really, really interested in what you guys think. And there is the link to join me up here on StreamYard. Make sure I don't kick myself out. Okay, I'm good. Because I know a lady, I would love to hear from you. Yeah, a lady says this was a terrible hoax. It is terrible. It is terrible because I believe, how you doing, Glorious Love? I do believe that she has a story to tell, but I want to make sure that the story being told is her words and not this mysterious author who a friend of a friend of a cousin of a brother or of a sister of a mother gave a flash drive to. I want something a little bit more concrete than this man coming up with this book that nobody can seem to verify that he got the manuscript from. That's all I want. Now, if no one is, oh, here we have Lovejoy. Let's bring Lovejoy on. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing, Legacy?
I am doing good. What are
So
your
this
thoughts?
so this whole thing has been racking my brain all day because I'm getting so much information. But I don't know if it's okay to mention another blogger, so I'll just say it sounds like content creators were getting together last night and researching this,
Mm-hmm.
and one named a person, and I got to go back and look at that name, and I'll put it in the comments later. But they were able to track it back to some person that put this whole scam thing together.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they were researching, they said there's a bunch of different Kim Porter books, right? So to them, it looked like this person latched on and did the Kim Porter book, and then they pushed it through like the bloggers and all that stuff, and it's kind of like a scam for money.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna tell you something else. I found three more well that one and two other that were allegedly, well, these, at least no one is saying that this is Kim Porter's words, but there are books about people who apparently knew her that can attest to what she went through. But here again, if I don't hear a family member, a friend, or Kamora Lee Simmons endorsing these books, I'm not buying them. But yeah, you can find other books in addition to his. And I don't know. Now, like I said, I was gonna come on this morning, and then I was gonna come on this afternoon. As soon as I was going to go live, I saw V Lenore was on, so I was like, well, I'm not gonna go on now. And we are kind of on the same wavelength, but I've heard a little bit about the man who penned this book, and I just wasn't impressed with what I heard out of his mouth. I wasn't convinced that this man knew what he was talking about or that he was being honest. So, it's just sent me, on this wild goose chase to find out as much information as I could before I myself decide I'm going to go ahead and buy this book and read it and promote it, because the thing I want the most is justice for Kim Porter. I mean, I find it funny about, the first medical examiner saying she died of poisoning, and then next thing you know, he dies, and now we've got a whole different cause of death. I personally, allegedly, do think that Diddy had something to do with it, but that's my personal opinion. I think he had something to do with the death of Kim Porter. So that's the opinion I have, and which reminded me to put my banner up.
Yeah. Yes.
How are you doing? I think Linda Gibbs, Zen Soul, and somebody else came into the chat that I was not. I'm free to be me. I think I spoke to you. I think someone else came in. Yeah, Linda Gibbs. Um, but anyway, yeah. So that's my theory on it. I mean, because I think it's funny when we started hearing when she was on this earth, and we started hearing that she was going to do a book, and it seems like then she's unalived. Come on, So I don't buy it. Hey,
Yeah.
obsessed with the mess. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. And the theory, I'm calling it a theory, but apparently what was investigated by the bloggers and stuff is that so Kim's laptop and all that stuff came up missing, right?
Hmm.
So it's thought to believe, of course, Diddy and his camp got a hold of her stuff because it's not with anybody on Kim's side. And so they think that somebody in his camp gave information, to write a book or whatever to this publisher guy. So I don't know if that's all true, but what they're trying to say is they wanted to put this book out, rush it out since Diddy got arrested and all this stuff, trying to change the direction of trying to deflect the situation, basically,
Yes.
and trying to
Yes.
say, "Oh, Kim was just as bad as me." Da da da. But they mentioned Al B. Sure, so then that kind of made Al B. Sure come out and speak on it. But I think the book has some truths to it, and that's why it tricked people. It has some
Hmm.
truths, but it was all as events and stuff we already were familiar with. There was no secrets from a flash drive, that's the main point. There was nothing from a secret flash drive. So yeah, he had me fooled for a minute too. I was kind of on the fence, like, is he real? Is he not real? And it hit the fan this morning. Everybody they had solved the mystery. It's
I'm gonna
definitely not.
I'm gonna tell you, I heard that man speak, and hey, Zen's soul, I am feeling well. Thank you so much, and thank everybody for the well wishes that they put under my post last night. But I heard him talk, and it wasn't even for long, and I thought I'm not buying this, man. I'm not buying it. So I went on my own wild goose chase, and I even still I was gonna say, well, I guess people are talking about it now about uh, this book being questionable. So, maybe I won't. But then I said, yeah, I will, because I just have my own opinion, and I want to express it and to hear what other people's opinions are about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I listened to a bunch of different information from different individuals today. So I think I can safely say for sure for myself, it's definitely not a book of words Kim left behind to be published after her demise.
Right.
That
Right.
we know for sure it is not. So
And I just think it's terrible. She has children. She has children. And for this to even happen, I mean, and I really feel bad for the son that she had with Al B. Sure, because here he is. He's got his biological father, and then he's got his, sort of kind of father, another father figure in his life who's going through something. And then, it's like, then this book is published saying all this stuff, and, saying that there was a threesome between Al B. Sure, Sean Puffy Combs and Kim Porter. I mean, that is just outrageous. That is
It,
outrageous. And let me tell you something. Let's say I was an author and someone gave me that flash drive, and that excerpt was in there. You know, this was really, let's imagine Kim Porter really did have this flash drive and it was handed off. I wouldn't put that part in there. I just really wouldn't. I would leave that specific part out
that's
because
true.
she has children,
Yeah,
and I just, that would have just stayed out, period. So and especially with all that I'll be sure has gone through, almost coming to his demise and his being vocal about the whole thing. So I would have just, sometimes you got to do things with caution. And this was just to jump on. That's the thing about bandwagons. Just because one goes by doesn't mean you have to jump on it. Because what this was calculated. Okay, he's
yeah,
been arrested. Let me rush this book out. And
yeah,
now it's like a number one seller on Amazon.
yeah, yeah.
And I think that's terrible. It's
Terrible,
terrible.
heartless. But that's all I had, Legacy. I'll let somebody else come up. I just wanted to mention that so you can kind of dig into it too in the back end.
Yes, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for
You,
sharing.
you're welcome. Talk to you soon. I'll drop it
Bye.
in the chat. Bye.
Okay. I pinned the link in case there's anybody else who wants to come up and give their opinion. Something else that I found over the weekend that was interesting that I am going to, Zen Soul, did I speak to you? I think you were the one I didn't speak to. Um I there's a, victims are coming, they're falling out of the sky. And I'm not going to say any of them are lying because their stories are very believable. But there is a guy that made claims against him in 2018 that has resurfaced, and I want to play that in a few minutes. But there's a woman, and I forgot her name. She had a suit against him. Now, his lawyer argued not that everything that she's saying is untrue and that P. Diddy never touched her. His argument was that the statute of limitations was
Hey,
over. I mean, are you serious? That's your thing. The statute of limitations for you to sue me is over. So he never said, "Oh, my client didn't do this and we want this drop." No, it was your statute of limitations are over. I mean, how really? Are you serious? Hey, Nola Brown, how are you doing, glorious love?
hey, how are you?
I'm lovely.
I'm sorry. I'm going to be real quick. When you said, you felt how you felt when you heard the man's voice speaking. I just put in a comment. I felt the exact same way. I felt the same way. I was like, you know what? He's just not passing my smell test. And then when I heard someone reading the transcript pretty early on, because this blogger that I heard reading it had gotten it pretty early on. I couldn't even make it all the way through. I was like, there, that's it. I
Hmm.
got to the Al B. Shore part, and then I said, that's it. This is atrocious, and this is just not. It's not logical that someone would write a tell-all to me. I mean, in my opinion, allegedly, they would write a tell-all that shows them in a bad light. I mean, in a
Yeah,
real
that's
bad light.
that's what I said. Why on
Yeah.
earth would she pin this and talk about a threesome that she had with her baby daddy and the daddy? And the thing of it is I've been all over reading uh, comments, and there are people who really believe that. There were some people saying Albie Sure was despicable. And I said, this is crazy. This
Yeah.
is crazy.
It is crazy, and I hope that something could be done about that on behalf of the family, because like you said, that son, that I feel so bad for him. He's already going through something traumatic. He's gone through something traumatic, and he's going through something traumatic, and this is just totally unnecessary. I just felt so bad. I feel
Yeah,
bad
yeah.
for him, for the son, and her other, not just the son, her other children.
I mean, she had daughters too.
Yeah.
This is
So
just
yeah, it
terrible.
was. I just wanted to just come up and say that. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I- I'm just gonna say I don't know definitively. We don't, we don't know. I
Hmm.
certainly hope that it's not true. I'm just gonna put it that way. I certainly hope it does. I don't believe it is, and I certainly hope it's not.
Right, right.
So
But
yeah, but I'm gonna drop back down.
thank you so much for coming up. How are you doing, Blue Bear? Native, let me get you in a second. Um, Also, a lot of you I know may follow Pam Esquire, the Law Intellect, and she put a post out. This was, I think I saw it yesterday, where she said, did the guy that wrote this Kim Porter book under an alias name say the proceeds were going to Kim's kids? Now I don't know if he said that, because I can only take so much of him. And she further goes on to say, who is profiting from this book? Gene Deal already said the pages he read weren't accurate. It's looking real suspect to me. So I found that, and I thought that was interesting as well. Hey, Native.
Legacy Moon, I too am writing a book about Kim Porter.
Oh,
It's
yes, because
going to it's
go
going
ahead.
to be it's going to be called Kim Porter, I Did Not Know You Yet I Will Make Up Stories to Make It Sound Like I Did.
Yes, yes,
And I'm going
exactly.
to put it on Amazon under an assumed name because I don't want to be sued. So I will be publishing this book under my alias, Jamal Mashburn. Yes, he was a basketball player, but it's a safe name to use.
Yeah. Is he
So I
using it right
too,
now?
I don't know if Jamal Mashburn is using his name at this time, but it doesn't matter because I am going to put out the definitive truth that is fiction about Kim Porter, a person who I did not know yet I'm writing a book about, because that seems to be what you do now.
Yes, because I just happen to know, dear sir, that her brother's that somebody's brother's cousin's girlfriend, whose sister worked for Kim Porter, is the one who gave you the hard drive. Yes, yes, yes.
I know of a Kim Porter, but it's not that Kim Porter, and I shall be writing my book based on my dealings with her.
Oh yes, yes. We're gonna all run out and buy it too.
She works at a hair salon in East Point.
Someone said you sound very cherry. She said this sounds like Jeffrey from Fresh Prince.
Well, see, that's what you do when you go on people's channel and you writing a book about some shit you don't know nothing about. You change the way you talk, like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just a thing that you do. So this is my fake author voice. I am an author of books that I know nothing about, and I'm going to promote them on everyone's channel
I do now,
because that's what you do.
like I said, I don't want to offend anybody, but they gave some white man this flash drive. I mean, is that that's all I'm saying. I don't mean no harm, but
look,
that's all I'm saying.
look, I listen to the dude like everybody else listen to the dude, and I'm like, bruh, bruh. Like, I mean, I'm thinking he worked for the Nesto Publishing Company. Like, ain't neither one of y'all wrote nothing. Ain't neither one of y'all wrote nothing. I'm just saying, like, what in the hell? I mean, the tragic part is that there's a real life person behind all this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
she lived and she had kids, and and she's went through everything she went through, and now it's like people coming out on her name, and I feel like it's completely disrespectful to sit there and like fake a book. How you gonna fake a book? Like, and I saw somebody in the comments say that if it's not 100 pages, it ain't a book. Thank you. Like, what the hell? What 60 pages? You couldn't have
You
even made the book a whole like full length book. That is a pamphlet. That's like three Life magazines put together. Come on now. And this
like
woman,
well, I was going to say, like Kim Porter suffered, all these atrocities and trauma, and she only had like I mean, what, 60 pages? Let's say that's 4 entries. I mean, come on.
That's what I'm
It's not
saying.
believable. The package isn't even believable.
That's
I
what
mean,
I'm
come on.
saying. And
No.
I feel, you know how I be feeling like when people be lying to me, I feel like, look, I'm a grown man. You ain't got to lie to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I
Right.
feel like going on, you know, when he went on Nyla and, you know, and he was just like, he ain't know half of the book. How you don't know the stuff you wrote? Like, you know, like what? I was like, come on, Nesto. Then I realized it wasn't Nesto. Like, right. I mean, it's just ridiculous, man. But that's, you know, that's really it, man. I just don't. I think it's so bold for people just to lie, you
Hmm.
know, just to be in proximity to a story. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you lying just so you could be close to a story,
Right.
and I mean, it's just like it's frustrating because it wasn't like she's not just a story; she was a person, you know. And to get up
Hmm.
there and tell all these tall tales, man, I was just too through. I was too through. So
There's a that girl made a comment that I totally agree with, and she said, if this was true, then why was he lurking around for whoever would listen to him? You know, I guess
mhm.
she means here on YouTube or wherever. If if there was any validity, I've not seen any what is it, the morning show, or just like any of those. I haven't seen any of those people interviewing him and talking to him about this book that he can't even recite. You know, if I don't know, if I wrote something, I would just be able to tell you everything in it, and to not know, how can I write a book and not know the middle or the end? You know, I
Right,
mean, it
right.
makes no sense.
Can you imagine you writing a book and then somebody like reading part of it, you like, for real? I said that. I said
Right.
that. What? I wrote that. What? Wow.
You know,
What?
a
Wow.
word that I get so tired of hearing, the word clout chasing. I wish, or capping, I wish that they were retired back in 2023. But this is one time I will say this is some straight up clout chasing. Straight up.
Yeah,
How are you doing? Coffee is brewing. How are you? Straight
yeah.
up.
It's cloud chasing, and for what though? Like, I mean, what do you expect to gain from this? Like, what you want to write real books now? I mean, like after this is over, what you gonna write a for real book and say like, this is the book about Michael Jordan? No, I'm serious. I actually know Michael Jordan. Is that gonna be the name of it? You know what I'm saying? Like, what?
Right.
Where do you go from this? And and as somebody that actually writes, it's insulting. Yeah, I'm putting him in the Nesto category. It's insulting because just like Nesto
Hmm.
told me, he wrote 300 pages. This is insulting. This man wrote 60.
Right.
This man wrote 60 pages allegedly
Yeah,
about somebody that he
allegedly.
don't know nothing about.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, a book that he can't even recite. I mean, come
Oh,
on, be real. Be
oh mercy.
real.
That's just upsetting. It's upsetting all the way around. And you know, and I hope that like I really do hope that nobody else gives him the attention. You know what I'm saying? I mean, shout out to Nyla for doing what she did to expose him because I think that's what it did more than anything else. Because I think after that, I don't think nobody really can take this guy serious. But she exposed him, you know, but I don't think anybody else needs to give this dude any more attention after that. Like for real.
Right.
You know,
Right. I
let
don't think so either.
let him fade away, you know, and be where he gonna be with his fake. I don't know what kind of accent was that? Cause like I ain't understand. I ain't know what he was talking about. Like I was
Well,
like, what?
look,
Why you talking? Why he talking like that? Like he talk like that because that's how he think people that write books talk. Like
I only listened to like 3 minutes of the man, and that was that for me. So, but I'm telling you, when I heard all these things were going through my head, I'm like, what are you? What? Who? What? So I'm like, mm-mm,
no,
mm-mm.
I couldn't understand it. So I just, you know, I was like, you know, I'm pretty much done with this. I'm about to go write some real books and, you know, see if I can, you know, sell them about some real things. I could, you know what? Look, Bank just popped up on the screen. I might write a book about Bank. You know what I'm saying? I might just write the Bank novel. You know what I'm saying? Black auntie, no kids. I know her well.
Yeah, right about her travels to, where is it? Where was it? Thailand, and all of the things she got into when she was
She
there.
went to Thailand and had the freshest hibiscus tea. There has been no tea as hibiscus or as tea as the one Bankhead in Thailand.
And she
I
had the last hibiscus flower. There's no
right.
more left on earth.
There are no more hibiscus flowers due to Banks' travels to Thailand. Yeah, that'll be the book I write. I'm gonna write the book about Bank. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, why not? Why
yeah.
not?
Why?
I
Why
mean,
not?
it seems to work. It
There
seems
seems
to
to be
work.
a
And
thing.
now that you've already gave pre-advertisement to this book,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
of course, write it. Everybody will go out and buy it.
Look, pick up my book on the one publisher that's the hardest to get your book published on, Amazon. Anybody can get a book published on Amazon. That's like trying to get your movie on Amazon Prime. It ain't take anything. I mean, like it's not like a sort of like a scholastic book, or it's not like, I mean, it's a platform where anybody can take any material, and it's not fact checked. There's no editor. There's nothing. You just send it to Amazon and they put it out. What? There's no challenge to that. So that should be red flag number one.
I mean, after all, the Bible lady over there, she's got one that's going to come out, so you know that they take it.
I mean, is that not red flag? Amazon, it came out on Amazon. Oh, okay.
Yeah, just for fun, I went over there to Audible, just to see, and it wasn't over there. But for 60 pages, this man couldn't do an Audible. I mean, hey, why not just get all the money while you're out there getting money? Do an
Right.
Audible of your 60 pages that Kim Porter
Exactly.
allegedly wrote, that was given to you in a flash drive by a cousin of a best friend of a sister of a brother of a mother. Come on.
Right.
Come on.
Right. And
I mean,
Glorious Love, to answer your question, they can take it down. I mean, Amazon will put anything out, but if after they, if you come up and say, hey, this is slander or defamation, or if it's some kind of, yeah, absolutely, Amazon has to take it down. It's just the idea that they don't really vet anything before they put it up or before they put it out. That's the
right.
point. They're not really like someplace. Amazon publishing is for, like, you want to do your cookbook, or you want to do a family vacation or a journal, or you just really want to publish a book. But it's not really like a serious book publishing, like I'm a serious author, because those people have agents, or there's just other platforms that are taken more serious than Amazon. That's all I'm saying. But yes, absolutely, if the family has a legit issue with the book, yeah, they can absolutely take it down.
Yeah. They could take it down. Now, I hadn't, that post that I read of Pam's, I have not, I don't know if the funds from this book is supposed to allegedly go to the children. I don't know, but I certainly, if I was Kim Porter's estate, I would be interested in where the profits from this fiction is going, and I would try to get it taken down. It's just a disservice to all victims who have suffered abuse, period, or the abuse at the hands of Sean Combs. It's insulting. It is very insulting.
It is, but at the same time, let me tell you, at the same time, to see what he's going through is pretty satisfying. I can tell you personally now, I am not, we talk about this all the time. I'm not in any way do I know Sean Diddy Combs. However, I do know people that were kind of in his mix back when I was really in the music business back in the day. And let me tell you, this dude has been doing stuff for a very long time. And I think that's becoming very apparent to everybody now. But
Hmm.
man, this guy has been a slime ball forever. And I remember telling people about the time when Making the Band and all that was coming out, about all the things I had heard from my people that was in New York and my New York connections. I was connected to Bad Boy and around that. I was telling, they was like, oh, that was when the word hating was just coming out.
Oh
I
gosh.
had been accused of hating this man for so long. And I'm like, no, I'm telling y'all, as a producer, he stole music. As a person, you know, running the company, all these things that he was doing, and I got it on good sources. You know what I'm saying? People that were there, and I've been telling people about this guy for a long time. But now to see it all coming home to roost, all them chickens coming home to roost, I ain't gonna lie, it feel kind of good because you know, I'd heard some stuff about this guy forever ago, and it just took this long for it to kind of finally come to light. So for me, I'm satisfied seeing everything that this man going through. I mean, I'm not satisfied seeing all that damn baby oil. I don't know what the hell the rest of us gonna do. Some of us just want soft skin, you know. Some of us, so everybody ain't a deviant. Some of us just want soft skin. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I was trying to figure out in my mind who was worse at this point. Was it R. Kelly or Diddy? Because on one hand, you have R. Kelly, who very much so likes children.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he had his own thing going on with his captive slaves and stuff and women he had stashed. Or, you know, does Sean Combs, you know, is his atrocities worse? I mean, you're talking about children, women, and then you've got drugs, you got men, you know, you've just got so many parts to it. I'm trying to just in my mind, who do I think is worse? Because they're both trash and they both need to rot. But who do I
You,
think is worse?
you know what I look at it as? I look at it as, you remember how you had the Justice League and then you had the Legion of Doom, where like
Hmm.
it was just a bunch of supervillains. I think that what we gonna find, because this ain't over, you know, this ain't over. So I think we gonna find that we gonna end up with a Legion of Doom, where it's just gonna be like this cabal of supervillains, and each one of them has their own supervillain power. So, but they're all villains, and I think that we gonna end up finding out that it's just a lot. Because I like P Diddy wasn't the only one I heard about up there. Like it's some other Hove, it's some other people that Hove that I done heard about that was doing some things. Hove, I ain't gonna say nothing to Lady 747. I ain't gonna say nothing. All I'm gonna say is Hove. You know, I done heard some things, and you know, and so when them things start to come out, I think we're gonna realize that it's a lot of them. So I don't think we're gonna be able to compare which one is worse. We just gonna be able to put them all in one cabal of just evil, just monsters. You know what I mean? Because they have ruined a lot of people's lives behind the scenes.
Well, what I want to know is what's gonna happen with uh Jigga Man's wife when his dirt starts falling out the trash.
Now, I ain't say nothing about Jigga Man. I ain't said nothing about Jay-Z. All I said was Hov.
I I said Jigga Man. I said it. Jay-Z, what's gonna happen to Beyonce when his trash start falling out? Because I know, you know, I know all of y'all love her. She's y'all's queen of music and all that. But I'm just saying. And are we going to use the same approach that we use with Shirley Strawberry? Oh, she knew what was going on. You know, we gonna do that? Is that
I
what's gonna happen?
I don't know. Look, I don't mess with Beyonce fans. You know what I'm saying? I don't do that because
I
you
know,
know
cause
I
yeah.
gotta look. I gotta live in this city. You know what I'm saying? So, but, shoot, I don't mess with those Beyonce fans, man. I don't. Lord of mercy, no. But I will say that I do. You know what? I would not be surprised if there was some disassociation if it came out, depending on what comes out and depending on how bad it comes out. I believe there
Mhm.
will be some, you know, disassociation, you know,
Uh,
associated with, you know, just to kind of like back off, you know, kind of put some distance, because one thing that Beyonce has shown us, if she ain't showed us nothing else, Beyonce care about Beyonce. All right.
mhm.
Beyonce puts Beyonce number one. Not to say that she don't love her child. What's her name? Blue Spice, Ivy Spice, Ice Spice. What's the baby name? I don't know the baby name. But not to say that she don't care about the baby. Not to say that she don't care about her husband. But the one thing Beyonce has shown us, if you don't believe me, go back and watch that time Kelly fell. Was it Kelly fell on the stage? Who fell on the stage when it was
It was
in this?
Michelle. I think it was Michelle because she's
Michelle
always
fell on the
falling.
stage, and if Beyonce ain't walk over that child, I tell you what, Beyonce has shown us. Beyonce has shown us in depth. We know one thing for sure. Beyonce love her some Beyonce. So she ain't finna let Jigga, Hove, Jay-Z, Sean Carter, whatever you want to call him, he ain't finna bring Beyonce down. That ain't finna happen. So it'll be some moves that's gonna happen that's gonna ensure that Beyonce is what she say, I got her my love on top. She gonna end up with her love on top. Yeah.
She definitely is. Thank you so much for the sticker, Sanders RN. She says, do you think the Black culture allows people like the Kellys and Diddy's to survive, or is this beyond racial lines? No, because I'm going to tell you, the celebrity I saw that, what's that fat man? What that Faison? What's that fat
You
Faison
said that,
ass man?
fat man.
Yeah, yeah, you know, he was all on Instagram and he said, you know, since when does having sex with women turn into a crime? I'm like, you ignorant. Go eat a cheeseburger. What do you mean? He says, oh, you know, that what happened to Cassie, you know, that was terrible. But other than that, I just don't see how having sex it could be considered a crime. I'm like, man, go get a cheeseburger, a Happy Meal, go buy a restaurant, but get up off of here with that foolishness. What do you mean? This man is male prostitutes, holding people. The man has a bathroom full of baby oil and lube, and you sitting up. When was that illegal?
Why,
Duh.
why you gotta
Dumb.
bring up the baby oil? Look. I don't know why you gotta bring up the baby oil. Why?
Oh, fat ass. I heard him sitting up there talking. It's like this old, if he don't get his fat ass off of this Instagram talking this foolishness. Y'all, if y'all don't believe me, it's on there. I think it's under the shade room or the neighborhood talk. But as far as I'm concerned, he's trash. I ain't never laughing at nothing else he says. Not that he
Well,
ever said anything funny anyway, but
you would have to go back to Friday to find something funny that he said. I mean, if you really want to be completely honest about Faison's career, if we want to be completely honest about his career, you got to go back to Friday. You play with my emotions, Smokey. You got to go back there to find something funny that he's said. Um, so
wait,
to just
Lovejoy. We're talking about Faison. What is the last? Is it Love? Is that what it is?
Faison Love,
Yeah,
Fat
Faison
Faison.
Love.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
you bad.
But to answer your question, Sanders RN, I think that we have been conditioned in a society that is very much patriarchal. So everything in our society is geared in favor of men, specifically white men. So the way that the hierarchy has always been in America is the top of the hierarchy is white men. Then there's white women, then there's black men, and then there's black women. Black women have always been at the bottom of the totem pole. So if
Hmm.
that is the case, anything that happens to black women automatically defaults in the black woman had some blame, something to do with it. What were you wearing? Why did you dress like that? She's so fast. All of these
Hmm.
things have been just ingrained in us to be a thing. So when you have a Diddy who transcends and says, okay, I'm no longer black because I have money. I am now just rich. I'm not in this thing as a black man anymore. We equate lots of money with being white, but white people don't look at it like that. White people just say, you a nigga with some money. Like they don't look at us the same way that we look at them. Diddy got to the point, and not just Diddy, but R. Kelly, Richard Pryor, they get to the point to where their celebrity transcends their race until they get in trouble.
Bill
Once they
Cosby.
get in trouble, then they get brought back down to be reminded, hey, buddy, you still a nigga. So, um, so I think the answer to your question is that they believe it transcends race. They believe that they are bigger than being black until the justice system actually works against them. As long as everything is good, then they're good. I think that if you look beyond celebrity and look at how many people you know, because I can tell you how many people I know personally who have been victimized by members of their family, ancestral things, that have happened. You know, uncles touching, dads touching kids, and all this other stuff, and it gets swept under the rug. Think about the movie Soul Food and how we laughed at the old guy that was kissing up on everybody and touching that. That's sexual assault, y'all. We've been conditioned to not even take it serious sometimes, which is why you have the Sylvias and the Sonias who don't believe when a woman says that she's been assaulted or think that it's some kind of way a woman's fault. So I know that was a very convoluted and long answer to answer your question, but I think there's a lot of things that are happening all at the same time in both the defense of Diddy and R. Kelly, in the charges with Diddy and R. Kelly, and also in our own personal lives and the people that we know that have been affected by sexual assault by family members. Because statistics show that it's not people from the outside that are doing it; it's people that we know.
Well, thank you for bringing that point, Sanders. And thank you for bringing her question back to my attention, because I got off on a tangent about that ignorant
Fat
phase
phase on,
on.
fat phase
Yeah,
on, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah, you
forgot
did,
to answer the question.
yeah, you
One of
did.
the things I will say is that you hear a lot of chatter and you hear a lot of people saying, oh, they're only doing this to Diddy because he's black. What about Epstein? What about Weinstein? What about all the people? What about Trump? You know, they're not doing this to Diddy because he's black. They're doing it because what he did was wrong.
Mm-hmm,
And I think that in his eyes, just like OJ felt like, I'm not black, I'm OJ. I think
mm-hmm,
sometimes when people of color get money, the fact that they're black does seem to does seem to ease out of their minds. It's just, oh, I'm me and I'm a billionaire. I got it going on.
mm-hmm,
And I think as a culture, we look at these people like they're successful, they've made it. Look at all of the achievements, look at everything that they have done. So we want to excuse or give reasons as to why, oh, it wasn't that bad. Well, I don't
mm-hmm.
believe her.
Right,
Oh, that didn't really happen. But
right.
when you've got a victim coming out, I mean, it seems like victims are coming out every day now, and they're not just women, they're men
Right.
that are victims of his. The in the Little Rod lawsuit papers, there's a thing where he talked about when he was, with Diddy, he used to have to go to the strip clubs and he had to wear a certain hat. And when people saw him arrive with that hat, they knew that he was with Diddy, and they knew what was up, and they knew they were going to leave and be with him, be part of his little freak offs and everything. It was known.
Mm-hmm,
And that is in lawsuit paperwork. So I just think that we want our people to succeed, and we really do.
mm-hmm,
But just because you are a successful black person doesn't mean I am going to look past the atrocities that you commit.
mm-hmm,
I'm not going to do it. But there are some black people, or even I'll just say the culture, especially the rap culture, who just really doesn't see anything wrong with what he has done. But they also don't see anything wrong with assault, period. They just don't
right.
understand assault.
Right, and that's why I reference the hierarchy in this society, in this country, in the way that black women have been treated. You know, when Malcolm X said that the black woman is the most disrespected person on the planet, he wasn't just saying that because he needed to fill space in his speech. He was saying that because it's absolutely true. And when you think about the way that we handle, um, if a little girl has on her clothes and all she doing is just playing with her toys and, don't let the skirt flip up for half a second. Some kind of way it's her fault that these grown men are looking at her. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like we place the blame in the wrong spots in a lot of occasions because we believe that black women are just prone to be promiscuous and prone to be, just so sex driven, and we adultify children that don't deserve that. These kids deserve to be able to live their lives and be children, and these grown ass men, need to keep their eyes where the hell they belong. You know what I'm saying? Like, but
Mhm.
we excuse male behavior. All right. And I'm a dude, and I can tell you that that's a real thing. We excuse male behavior and we place unfair blame on young girls, women, whoever, whenever something happens, and we just leave the man blameless. And it's just such an uphill battle for a woman to even prove such allegations that they don't even bother half of the time. The statistics bear it out that underreporting of rape, underreporting of SA, underreporting of all these things, because why would you in this
Mhm.
society? Because you're going to be cast with the scarlet letter. You're going to be the troublemaker. You're going to be this and you're going to be that. And oh, she's trouble.
Right.
And rather than do that, you just say, you know what, I'm gonna swallow this pill as hard as it is to swallow, and I'm just gonna live my everyday life, and I'm gonna put it in the back of my head, not knowing the trauma that has happened to you, not knowing that it's going to affect the other relationships that you have in your life, whether it be with your husband, your boyfriends, your kids, whatever. Not even understanding that you are placing yourself in that trauma without getting help, because all you want to do is not be the one that everybody's looking at as the troublemaker. That's where we live. This is us. This
Mhm.
is this is the society that we live in.
And it's I mean in our community still, um child essay, adult essay, the way, I mean, especially if it's someone that
Hmm.
the way that we tend to just dismiss it,
Right.
it is still, those numbers are very high.
Right.
It's just being dismissed,
Right.
and it shouldn't be. It just shouldn't be. We finally got to where, okay, people, we actually believe in mental health and that it is a thing. Now we need to get what abuse is, and that it's wrong, and that it is not the woman's fault or the child's fault. It's not their
Right.
fault. So we have Native, we have up here PW. What's going on, PW?
Hey, good afternoon, Legacy and Native. How y'all doing?
Fine.
I'm good. I just got off work. My black
Well,
job kicked my behind today, so I'm good.
I'm on my way trying to get out of my black job, but I wanted to just make a couple of quick comments, and I actually do agree with everything that you all have said. I just wanted to add that a part of the reason why we have Diddy's and R. Kelly's and anybody else who's a deviant or even like a Nesto is because you know they're delusional and they're delinquents. But unfortunately, the more you get away with something, the more whatever it is becomes true to you as far as your being invincible. So
Mm-hmm.
we can say that even though they are treating him or any of them, the justice system has stepped in. The fact is, it didn't happen. Like, we don't know where we would be if they hadn't gotten, punished or held to their consequences after the first or the second time.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of years going by, have a court case, get off, years going by, have a court case, get off, then the popularity remains throughout this entire time. Or like a Bill Cosby, all this stuff was going all the lawsuits and stuff he was settling, behind closed doors.
Right.
uh that's a great thing, I guess, for the justice system, but at the same time, it definitely does leave the public, in the blind, especially with these non-disclosure things that these people have to sign when they settle. But
Right.
yeah, we have to do a better job at quote unquote policing our own community, because the problem is at some point the man, the white man, is going to step in for us, and then we start the complaining all over again. Not
Mm-hmm.
everybody, but it seems like, well, why? Where's the justice? Well, um, we could have instilled our own justice, but too many times for the same exact reasons why we said, uh, the incest and everything else continues to go on in our families, and we show up to the birthday parties and the cookouts with these same individuals. That's the problem. So nobody
Mm-hmm.
have to step in and police people in our community who have been tyrants, but it will continue to happen because we do not, as a whole, as a community, uphold these people to the same level of justice or some type of justice. And then when somebody else do it, it might be worse.
Right.
It might be what we feel like it, but by that time it's out of our hands to take control. It's in the Fed's hands now. What's gonna happen with Diddy is just what's gonna happen with Diddy. It's outside.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a community, I can dislike it all I want to, but at that point in time, what are we gonna do other than you becoming a Fed and you being the person to personally prosecute them? It's done. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you talk about people who uh are on a lower level, it happens at every level, unfortunately. We just happen to be talking about somebody who's famous, but it happens at every level. Even in my family, I think about if somebody had stopped, one or two of my relatives. Like, I'm like, I can't believe they let him out. And a couple of them, I'm still wondering why the heck are y'all out? But
Right.
they are, and they will continue to possibly do what they do. I mean, out for long stints of period of time. So it's a lot about this justice system that I don't understand. So no, I can't even, from my own personal experience, are they locking all our black men up and keeping them? No, they are not.
Right. Right.
I got some family members who've been doing some stuff for a very long time. And like I said, I wonder why in the world are you out? Or you still got a court date that's a couple of years down the road, and that whole time you free
Mm-hmm.
to commit and continue to do what you want to do. So at some point in time, like I said, either we police ourselves or we just sit back and wait. And then when the man step in, then don't complain at that point in time because we had our opportunity to do so and complain and get these deviants out of our community, but we chose not to. And because, like you said, Legacy, we do want our people to succeed. We do work harder at keeping our more famous people in these positions because it's always has to be a reflection on us as an entire community if they don't make it.
Right.
But in the
Right.
white community, they don't look at it that way. You know,
Right.
you don't succeed. If when Tom Cruise lost it on Oprah Winfrey couch all them years ago, and I know I went way back, I'm dating myself, but he did not make every white actor look bad. I mean, it just was a reflection on him.
Right.
I don't know why. So that's another reason why in the African American community, from the rapping community to R&B to actors and actresses that get away with that daggone Cuba Gooding Jr. Oh Lord. But anyways, that's why they get away with it because we see it as our success. But when we start to separate it and realize that's just their problem. Nobody told P. Diddy to buy or even have the power to get him that much baby oil.
You
Lord,
know,
why y'all bringing up the baby oil? Why y'all keep bringing up the baby oil? Lord, some of us
Breezy,
just want soft skin.
I want
Okay,
to
go
read
ahead.
this comment that Breezy B made. She says they get into so many diabolical sexual things that they can no longer be pleased or fulfilled with normal sexual things. So it just gets weirder and dark. And that's true. It's like you have so much money. It's like, well, what do I want next? What am I going to try to? Any man who puts, what is it? Is it a 50-foot, Nave? You probably know, a 50-foot bed in the backyard? I mean, that's just weird.
Wait, why I got to know about it? What? Why I got to know? What?
Just saying. I got to get that sound bite of you saying shit weird.
It's
Because that
weird.
is weird. Who and then he's having these parties and folks is jumping on it and stuff. That's just weird to me. If I walked in that house and in that backyard and I saw this 50-foot bed, I would leave because that's telling me right there things. Now, y'all, I don't know. Some people might be dating themselves, but can y'all remember? It used to be a big talk about Eddie Murphy and his mansion parties. In fact, Cat Williams, I think, has a few jokes about it. But, Eddie Murphy used to have these so called mansion parties where things kind of went on. But you see, ain't nobody suing him. So I guess maybe all that was willing. And I guess he probably wasn't abusing anyone physically. So, you know, he's not being called out. But Diddy was just a whole nother level. He just took it to another place. So
I just want to know why y'all keep bringing up that man Baby Oil. We don't know what Baby Oil has many uses. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't know what all the hell he was doing with the Baby Oil. You know what I'm saying? It might have been he might like soft skin like me. Like okay, I buy one bottle at a time. Okay, damn, my bad.
okay, the baby oil, but in addition to the baby oil that was in that room, and I don't know off the top of my head, but there were two other different types of lube in there that they did name. So that man got a bathroom, a
Right,
huge bathroom full of baby oil and two different brands of lube.
right.
Okay, so
He just renewed his Costco membership. He bought it in bulk. He went to Costco and just cleared them out. That's all it was. That's all
do
it
they
was.
even sell lube at Costco? I mean,
They
come
they
on.
don't. They don't. But I'm just saying.
Okay.
N. Sanders wants to know how many bottles of baby oil you have native.
One. I buy one bottle at a time. I'm one person. I like soft skin. Okay. I like my skin to be soft. All right. And baby oil is the way you do that. All right. And I'm just saying, I ain't got to buy 1,000 bottles because it's only one me. But if I had thousands of people at my house, maybe. I'm just saying. Soft
And for
skin for
anyone who
everybody.
is wondering, if anyone is wondering, we found out, and I think it was a lady who researched this, that that baby oil is good for 3 years. So maybe he was just keeping a. A lady says a lady says she thought we stopped using baby oil. Look, my grandmother always told me, and my mother told me that baby oil dries your skin out. But Sonya say it prevents wrinkles. So take that with a grain of salt.
And we should listen to her because she's 85 years old. She done been around the block several times. So because she done been around the block several times, we got to believe the things that she say about beauty and skincare. She was born in the 1920s. So there you go.
Yeah, it amazes me what people don't promote, but you come to find out they use a heck of a lot of. Like if I was Diddy, I would have been changed over to some baby oil and some lube type stuff. And he could have some stock in it that we just not don't know about. But like you brought up Sonya, if I was Sonya, I would be trying to communicate and contact people with toilets about toilets and stuff because you would be a very good spokesperson. Like people need to stay in their realm. Just like if you smoke a lot of marijuana, open up a shop or invest in a weed shop. I don't understand that people just do follow whatever it is those are your passions and those are things that you can stand 10 toes in and really promote. Because if Sonya tells me that a toilet it does well for her, I am running out and I'm getting that toilet.
Especially if it's a bidet.
Right.
We had some folks interested in her shower head because she talked about how good that performed, or her brother's shower head rather.
Oh, wait.
So we might
Wait.
have some
She
folks.
said, if Sonya said that the toilet worked well for her, then you finna run out and buy that toilet because that toilet must be amazing. I wonder did she have that conversation with Dre? Because Dre broke his toilet. So, oh Lord.
I revived said maybe the man's skin's ashy. Ain't that much ash in the world.
I'm
It
just
is
saying.
not.
I'm just saying, look, Fat Faison gonna come out and say that's the reason why he had all that baby oil. He gonna say he ain't want to have dry skin. Is that a crime now to not want to have dry skin? That dude is so stupid. He been stupid for a long time.
Yes,
Trust me.
he is. I'm
Trust
telling
me.
you, he had my blood was boiling
Out
after
here look
watching his video.
out here looking like Lamont stunt double. Yeah, he need to cut that bullshit out. Yeah.
Diddy was using that baby oil at his parties for like a slip and slide. Cause I see that, like an adult slip and slide. Just
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
slide. But it's evident that you were not using them for that, and you displayed them in such a way that you were so proud of them. And next to the loop, like the combination of it just distorts what the innocence of baby oil and Johnson and Johnson. That's what disturbed me more so.
Well,
Uh, yeah.
one thing that was missing from the list of items found found, and somebody correct me in case I overlooked it, but condoms. I didn't hear anything about, them finding 1,000 condoms there. Did anybody
Legacy
else?
Moon. Legacy
Hmm.
Moon. You must didn't hear the name of the party. Okay. It was a freak off party. Okay. You do not bring condoms to a freak off party. That's not a thing. That's not something that you do.
Well, if you're having a freak off, that I would assume freak off party means, anything goes in multiple people. So the first thing I would think about if I were going to a freak off would be condoms,
And that's
you
why
know?
you ain't get invited. You ain't get invited because you thinking about the wrong thing. That's why they ain't never sent you no invitation to the freak off party because you think about condoms and you gonna ruin everybody's fun. Walk around talking about you got one of these, you got one of these. Hey man, if you don't get that shit out my face, we trying to freak off.
Well, so since no one has commented, I'm going to assume that's a no. I think a lady said not one in sight, but so since it's quiet in the room, I'm going to assume there was
Hell
no
no.
condoms on the list.
We weren't even looking
Okay.
for one. We weren't looking for them.
um Native Dimples Wimples would like to know, did you get that mouse?
Man,
some
look.
baby some baby oil.
Look, we ain't even well, see what I'm saying? This is why okay, look. Me and Dimples Wimples got to talk because she bringing stuff from yesterday over into today. Okay, we ain't, we ain't talking about that today. Okay, we ain't talking about that, Dimples. That's not the topic for today. We talking about the freak off party and not having the condoms and a bunch of baby oil. That's what we talking about today. Okay, and fat Faison. We talking about fat Faison. We ain't talking about my mouse. This ain't about native mouse today. Okay.
Yeah, let me pull that up. I'm gonna pull that up on the Instagram. 'Cause I'm telling you, where's my glasses? I can't see. Y'all continue to talk while I look for this. I'm gonna let y'all hear this because it's crazy. I'm gonna
She got to
find
pull
it
up fat.
and so y'all can hear it.
She
But
got to pull
somebody
up.
said
Yeah, I gotta pull up.
Diddy was the first person to ever be hit with a Frico. I got laughing. Lord have mercy.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
for heaven's sake, I cannot.
Wow.
Let me see where I fit. Let me see. I'm gonna find it because y'all got to hear it. I'm telling y'all, then y'all know why I am, teed off at with the little fat, what's his name, Big Worm. Who was he in that movie? Was he Big Worm?
Yeah, he was Big Worm, and I dare you to find another movie where you know the name of his character. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. I mean, like he's not. That's why I don't understand why some of these people get the time of day to get interviewed. And I mean, and I don't understand how he had time in between meals to get interviewed. Because I promise you, when she pulled this up, y'all, don't worry. Your internet connection did not gain weight. Your tablet did not gain weight. Your TV, whatever you watching this on, did not gain weight. It is just Faison Love. Okay, it's gonna make it seem like everything around you heavier because this dude is like I said, he looked like Lamont's stunt double. If Lamont made a movie, Faison Love would play his stunt double because he's not a good enough actor to play the leading role. So he would be Lamont's stunt double in the movie, just sweating all over the place, pork sweat just all over, just stank. Just,
Now,
I don't like him.
according to the neighborhood talk, they say Faison Love speaks on Diddy's legal situation, says he understands the Cassie lawsuit, but not the sex trafficking indictment. When has being nasty been a federal crime? Please tell
Mm-hmm.
us your thoughts. So now I'm gonna play what
Mm-hmm.
what fat ass Faison said. Let me see. Let me turn the volume up. But not the sex trafficking. Oh shoot! Let me get rid of me. When has I got to get rid of me? See a lot of people. Wait a minute. Let me start it over. I want y'all to hear this trash from the beginning. Okay, here we go. I need y'all to help me. We all heard about Puffy. See a lot of people. Yay. I'm confused. The Cassie thing, I understand. I think you should
Definitely lock this nigga up. Put hands on the young lady. But I don't understand the other shit. Can y'all help me? When has being nasty been a federal crime? And I'm glad they told me. I didn't know there was a limit on baby oil. I'm getting a few, because we get ashy. But you get a massage or something or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Please tell us the new rules for niggas. Because maybe they're not new rules, actually, because I think it was 1800s. There was a very famous boxer named Jack Johnson, and he was whooping ass. Everybody ass, but mostly white folks ass. He was whooping a lot of white folks ass. And he had a white woman, Mae West. They couldn't stop this black man. So they gave him trafficking.
Back in way back.
In the 1800s. Taking a white woman across the lines was... If he didn't do that, he wouldn't have stopped. Box. I thought I told you that we won't. Make it make sense. We need to know the new rules. You can't take anybody on vacation. You can't take anybody to Vegas. Damn sure don't bring them to Atlanta. I need y'all to help me because I don't know the new rules. Please tell me what was illegal. I need y'all to help me.
Okay, now let me just tell you, fat ass Faison, with your all you can eat self. Yes, if you take 1, 2, 5 women, especially if one of them is underage, from this state to that state and have sex and do all kinds of things with them, make them have sex with other people and they don't really want to do it. It's called trafficking. And see, now I'm gonna look it up because see what happened was when I started listening at Fat Ass Men this weekend and I saw that I quit in the middle. So I did not hear about this boxer and Mae West. Y'all see, I'm hyped now. I could barely talk with this foolishness. But anyway, so I'm just now hearing about him referencing this fighter in Mae West. So what I am going to do is I'm going to look that up in the 1900s. They didn't even have trafficking on the books. No, a black man can't take a white woman across lines back then. But he's up here citing stuff and don't even have it right. So, but that's what he said. What y'all think about that? Yeah, just Justin's mom said Fat Faison sounds uncomfortably fat.
Oh, look, y'all. I need y'all to help me out. Do anybody have an inhaler? Since when? I don't know the rules. I don't know the rules. Y'all help me out. I don't know the rules, and I just didn't know you couldn't have sex with people. I was just, somebody help me. Somebody help me. Y'all help me out. When he kept saying y'all help me out, I really thought he needed, like, I thought he was having a heart attack. I did. I was like, is he, because he sounded like things was closing. Sanders RN, this is when you can really help us out. Can you tell us what was closing on him? Because it sounded like it was some arteries or a valve or something. Can you can you help us figure out what the hell was closing? Because something was closed. Everything wasn't opened up on him that was supposed to be opened up. That's all I'm saying. I just want to know that he is okay. Is he okay? Because the man was... bruh, you don't need to be worried about Diddy. You need to get down to the clinic. You need to get down to the clinic is what needs to happen. Stop worrying about Jack Johnson, Mae West, Diddy, Travis. Don't worry about none of that. Please. Please. Weight Watchers, they can't see all that. Justin's mom, Weight Watchers can't see all that. It's too much to watch. He needs weight pay-per-view is what he needs, because there's too much to watch all at one time. Listen, Faison Love, before you try to get anything legal, just please, bro, get a breathing treatment, please. Lord have mercy, I was worried about him through that whole thing, and I think we need to do a wellness check right now on Faison Love, because this nigga don't sound right. I just want to know when the rules change. I just didn't know. I thought you could order more than 3 Whoppers at one time, but apparently you can't. Because they told me to get away from the Burger King when I went up there to order 4. Faison, please stop. Please stop talking. Please. You're wearing the rest of us out here. We don't want your ass to fall out nowhere, because we don't know who the fuck gonna pick you up. Please take care of yourself, brother. Please. That's all I can say. That's all I got out of it, for real. I was just really, really worried about Mr. Fat Faison, for real. It was really just the breathing was just getting to me.
Well, look, Lovejoy said, someone took me to see him live and I heard his breathing in the back of the room. No joke.
Lord.
What you think about that, PW? What you think about that statement he gave? You know, he's confused. He doesn't know.
Was he in the bathroom?
More than likely.
Yeah, he sounded like he might have been in the bathroom or had his head in a refrigerator at the same time. But I think it's a lot he doesn't know. I mean, if we want to go down that road with what he doesn't know that his cholesterol is too high.
Lord
He
have mercy.
doesn't know that his blood pressure is off the roof. He
Lord
doesn't
have mercy.
that he's unattractive. He
Lord have
doesn't know
mercy.
he would have to traffic to get somebody to have sex with him. He doesn't know that he broke to even be worrying about what a P. Diddy got going on to begin with. He doesn't know
Dang.
there's nobody checking for him. He doesn't know that. I don't know why that person even posted that online, and how could they even talk? Why did they torture us with that? They should have just wrote that out. Why? What do we deserve to have to hear that?
PW, I have a question.
Sir?
PW. Are you saying that the Friday checks then dried out? Are you saying ain't no more Friday checks coming in? That there's no more big worm checks coming in? That's what you're saying. He ain't got no more. There's no more big worm checks coming in. Is that what you're saying?
They are as dry as the crust that sounds like was in his underwear as he talked to us about some position.
I'm just making sure that's what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't breathe.
Ain't no more big worm checks coming. Faison Love. You need to cut the bullshit out. You need to go find work. That's what you need. That's what PW say need to happen. You ain't got no more checks coming in. You broke a shit, and don't nobody know that you are an actor anymore, and you fat. So you need to stop.
Yeah. He sounded like the ambulance was already outside waiting on him with the big waiting on him to finish that so they could just fold him over there and go on and take him down into the ER.
Damn. Damn.
With his nappy sitting up there, you know, y'all should have seen the faces he was making with his nappy ass beard on fat. Oh, calm down. Oh gosh, Dimples Wimple says Sonya has his toenail.
The fat Faison toe, yes indeed. Yes indeed.
Now I know that this thing when I started out, you know, I was very much so ticked off at this fraud who is presenting this book about Kim Porter, and it's nice to see we can evolve into something refreshing and funny, such as the ignorance of fat ass Faison Love.
Yeah, that's Fat Faison.
Yeah,
that's Fat Faison. Yeah. Fat Faison is always entertaining. Yeah.
Yeah, and now we really know what Cat Williams meant when he said a fat ass Faison lie. Yeah, now we know. Oh,
Yeah,
dummy.
yeah.
I would not let anybody know I was that dumb. Never, dummy.
But he didn't really realize that's what he was doing. He thought he was showing people how smart he was, to distract from how fat he is. That's what he thought was happening. He thought that, oh, they're gonna see how brilliant I am. They ain't gonna pay attention to these other 897 pounds that's on me. They're gonna pay attention to my 3-pound brain. So, they'll see that I'm more than just these 900 pounds. That's what they thought was gonna happen. But that's not what happened.
What is the name of that fighter? What'd he say?
I know who he's
Oh,
talking about, but I don't remember the name of the fighter. No, I
Jack
know, but I
Johnson.
know who he's talking about.
Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson is somebody that a lot of people that don't know that much about civil rights and about if you know about sports, but you don't really know that much about anything else with black or social justice, civil rights, people always talk about Jack Johnson. They always lean on that particular person. And what you find out about Jack Johnson is actually kind of disturbing, but he is somebody that people that's why those of us that actually know about civil rights and equal justice and the civil rights movement and black people, we don't really talk about him. we don't really talk about him. So that's a red flag by itself.
Yeah, he wanted to take a multitude of white women. So don't act like it was just this one man isolated with this one woman and somebody was picking on him. He was definitely he was pushing those boundaries, especially for that time. Especially for that time.
Furthermore, as far as I'm concerned, if this was back in the 1900s, he knew that was wrong. I mean, come on, wasn't it again? I don't know if it was a law on the books that says you cannot take a white woman over state lines.
They was sick of him.
But he shouldn't have been doing it, because I happen, though I may not know if that was physically on the books back in the 1900s, early 1900s. One thing I know for sure. In the early 1900s, a black man didn't need to be crossing nobody's state line or going across the street with a white woman. I mean, I'm sorry, that's just common sense. So if they got him for that, then hey, he needed to get got. That's all I can say.
But can we think about it for a quick second? Can we think about it? You was so in love with white women that you was willing to risk your life. Like, your life was worth. I mean, it wasn't like back then there were no black women. There was plenty of black women. Josephine Baker. It was all kind of black women running around, right? He could have had just about. He was a famous athlete, but he decided to risk lynching. He decided to risk jail and prison for a white woman. He ain't no hero of mine, you know what I'm saying? like that's not a heroic action to me, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and that's just my black woman bias that I have, but I'm just saying, like, it don't make no sense to me that it's already frowned upon in society during that time, but you willing to risk prison when there was other black women you could have been free with. You could have been free with a bunch of them. I don't understand. I just don't get it. Shit's weird.
It was.
Justin's mom said James Earl Jones played him in a movie. So I might have to look and see if I can find the name of it. I ain't gonna watch it because, as far as I'm concerned, the man's dumb.
Right.
But I'll find it and post it for y'all so y'all can see.
If he's Fat Faison's hero, he something wrong.
I don't know if that was him that was missing a whole bunch of his front teeth after a while.
Probably so.
I honestly, I don't think that I've heard of him before, honestly. So I don't know, but I just, that man ticked me off. Let me see if I can get pictures. I don't see.
It's kind of like Jesse Owens. Like, we know the name and we consider him a break, but Jesse Owens actually was not the most, how can I put it, ideal black person. You know what I'm saying? Like, he did what he had to do in the Olympics and he beat all them people, but his actual life outside of that is kind of questionable about his allegiance to black folks. So, there's a lot of people that are out there, that names that people bring up that aren't necessarily like freedom fighters, so to say. You know what I mean?
Okay, there's a lot of a couple of movies that have been made about him. Mm,
Bank,
look,
you absolutely have my permission. Absolutely, you do.
yeah, that's what I got to get that on the sound bite because I do want that and something else he said something in the sound bite and put it on here. I keep saying I'm gonna do it, but I just haven't done it yet. Um, what about Larry Spinks?
Oh, that's who it was. I knew it was one of them boxes that didn't
Oh,
have teeth.
with
Always
teeth.
smile.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yeah, I remember that. A lady says they were fighting for their personal freedom to be with white women. Yeah. I mean, I just Faison, man.
A
I
lady
hope
747, you said it exactly right. They were fighting for their personal freedom to be with white women. You are 100% correct. Yes, 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 yes. And so I can't really consider you a free, like a leader or civil rights, or you a groundbreaking. Nah, you did what you did, and trust me when I tell you, he suffered a lot of indignities as all black people did back then. But it wasn't for the sake of me in 2024. You know, I can't put him in the same category as Malcolm X or Stokely Carmichael. Not at all. He was just Jack Johnson. But again, that's what a lot of people reach for him as some kind of like, I'm like, nah, nah, not really.
look, Faison, let me find out this man ain't even verified on Instagram. Let me oh yeah, he is verified on Instagram. I'm just going to his page to see. Yeah, this fool still got this nonsense up on his page.
But
Need
I
Let me
bet,
my
see.
I bet,
pages.
I bet he verified on the Burger King site. I bet if you
Mhm.
go to BurgerKing.com, they probably got a blue check mark by his ass on now.
And
You
he
already
had
know.
the nerve. He had the nerve to write, under his post, new rules for niggas. So somebody please email or comment under him and let him know what the rules are. Oh,
Hmm.
well, honey, there are just people on Instagram who is just as dumb and ignorant as him. Somebody says, I said the same thing. I thought it was a Saturday Night Live skit, the press conference. Are you? Mm-mm. Somebody else says, Suge, R. Kelly, Diddy, all the biggest names. Valid point. Suge Knight ain't in there for trafficking. Ain't he in there for like killing people and beating people up and plotting unalivings and stuff? Isn't that why Suge Knight is in jail?
Yes, that is why Suge Knight is in jail. Let's just be completely clear. Let's just be completely clear as to why Suge Knight is in prison for everything you just said. You didn't leave out a single charge. Everything you said is why Suge Knight is in prison. Yes, you are 100% right. Yes.
Some somebody wrote under his comment said you can go to jail right along with him. You clearly don't actually read the case file. It's only 14 disturbing pages.
Right, exactly.
Somebody else said, what don't you understand? What concept is so difficult for you to grasp? Do you not know what the F of RICO is? Do you know what human trafficking is? Gun possession, kidnapping, intimidation, obstruction of justice, assault. What don't you get?
My God.
Let me see if this fool, look, he got all these comments on here. Um, and he hasn't commented back. And somebody said, I know it's BS. What happened to sex, drugs, and rock and roll? Only for YouTube people. What? What? Um, let's see. Who else is ignorant on here? The feds do not indict like this. If there weren't witnesses, you do know they confiscated videotape. That's what I'm saying. This man is in jail on evidence that the police got from his house. They didn't go out and manufacture these videos. They didn't go out and manufacture anything. They got the evidence out of the man's house. What, how many houses did they raid? Two or three? The evidence that they have and the things in that case file came out of his house with just a little bit of it from the Cassie lawsuit, because they sure enough had read in that indictment about the when he went and blew up Kid Cudi's car, after he threatened he was going to blow up his car, then it blows up. Yeah, so they had that. But anyway, she further goes on to say, you do know that, right? Y'all obviously have no clue how the feds operate. These aren't state charges, boo. Read up on Rico. Yeah, just
He not gonna do it, but somebody need to tell him it's the same rules for niggas under the American Medical Association. All rules apply as far as what qualifies as high cholesterol, diabetes, high blood pressure.
I wasn't ready for that.
You know what I mean?
Well, look, the comment I just read to you, someone commented under that and said, I know the feds was once run by J. Edgar Hoover, and they often accused Black people of all types of nonsense, and they were just as corrupt as any hoodlum on the street. You don't know that, right? So it ain't so quick to believe something the feds said just because they said it. I guess that's where you and I are different, boo. Well, like I said, the feds got the evidence that they're using to charge him from his house. So answer me that. What's your name? Uh somebody Dawson on Instagram. Y'all oughta respond back to him. And now at least we do have a man saying, man, stop acting like you don't know what that man did. That's right. And somebody else says, I don't believe he sex trafficked at all. Everybody was a willing participant. He was a Black billionaire. I can think of 20 different women and men that would gladly go with Diddy. Well, those are the ones that he should have gotten, and not the ones that he was locking up and keeping for days on end. The ones who he was slipping roofies in their drinks. I had saw something a few months ago that it said that you know how as ladies we like to watch our drinks at all times, and me personally, I would never accept a drink that somebody bought over to me from the bar, but they said Diddy took it a step further. He just went on ahead and drugged the whole bottle. So
Right.
that way, you thought it was safe because you saw it coming out the bottle, but no, this man has already slipped roofies into the alcohol before it even comes out the bottle. So, some people are just ignorant.
And
So
let's
go
be
ahead.
clear about one thing. Let's be clear about one thing, because I don't want it to get lost in this whole conversation. Okay, the one thing that we have to understand, and that and I say we as a society, is what the purpose of someone that commits SA and R is. It's not to have sex. That's not the thing. So when somebody says, "Oh, these women would be willing to go," it has nothing to do with being willing or unwilling. It's about power, right?
Mhm.
And we forget that that's what the purpose of the Bill Cosbys of the world, because people were like, "Oh, that woman is too ugly for him to have." No, that has nothing. It's not about sexual attraction. It's not about any of that. It's about power, wielding power over somebody. So if you understand that part and understand that as the motivation, then you understand how it can be trafficking. And it's not, trafficking and kidnapping are not the same damn thing. Okay. So we need to stop pretending like Puff Daddy was out there snatching folks like on Get Out. Like we need to like,
Thank you.
like we need to stop trying to picture him as just running up and talking, gotcha. I thought I told you that we won't stop, and just running back to the party with somebody. That's not how it worked. He was not sex trafficking and kidnapping are two completely different things. So I think when people like Faison and the people that are defending him, they're going off of words that they think they know the meaning of. And they're going
Mhm.
off of a concept that they think they understand. So why would some woman who is, works at the local Kroger in New York or whatever grocery stores they have up there, why wouldn't she want to be at a P. Diddy party and have sex with him? It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with her position in life, his money, her money, nothing to do with any of that. It's about power. I was listening to Art of Dialogue did a interview with Freddie P, who was in the band on Making the Band, right? And he was describing how everybody around Diddy he treated like his bitch. That's his words, right? He was saying, he treated Farnsworth Bentley, he treated the manager, the president of the company, everybody around him. But see, that indicates that that's a power trip. See, all of this comes from power and not sexual compulsion. So you don't have to be sexually attracted to somebody to R them. You know what I mean? And I think like that's where Sonya and like a lot of people have this misunderstanding of what it is to SA somebody, and to be in that position. Nesto was another one. Think about how Nesto has to dominate everything. He has to be the most important. He got to be the smartest. You need to listen to me. He's got to be that dude. He's got to be, all the time. He is one who doesn't have power but craves it, and was using Shirley Strawberry to give the facade of power. And that's how he was able to get, to get over on a lot of women, not just financially, but also sexually. So it's like, we have to really understand what the motivation is behind these dudes that are in this position. And if we understand that, then it's not so far-fetched that they would do these things.
Mm-hmm.
100%. And I've said it before and I say it again. Sonya herself was a victim of Nesto because she came out of her own mouth and said that first time she wouldn't plan on sleeping with him. She wanted to go to dinner or whatever, but Nesto said, take your clothes off.
Right.
So in her mind, it was her idea, but it really wasn't your idea. You had no intention of sleeping with him that first time. But because you liked him, you convinced yourself that him doing that to you was cute and okay. But he smelled you more than a mile away, sweetheart, and probably in more ways than one. But he did smell her a mile away, the desperation that was on her. And that's what Nesto does. Nesto say, I ain't touched nobody. I ain't never had to force nobody. No, because you do that and you don't actually put your hands on them. But when you put women in certain positions where they can't say no, or you have them on a what they call it? I'll call it a camper, but the RV or whatever, all these away places that aren't attached to other buildings and in vehicles, you know what you're doing.
Well, see, another misconception of these women being trafficked is that it's one thing for someone to decide that they will go to this party, they will stay with you, they'll let somebody run a train on them. That's one thing. But if I already know, if you have already abused me in some way, shape, or form, and you may not put a gun to my head and say we going to Miami and this is what we gonna do. If you have beaten me down, have abused me, and treated me a certain way for so long, I am gonna go because I am scared of you. That's what makes it trafficking. You're not threatening me, but I know what you've done to me. So I don't understand this willing participants. These women are not willing. Cassie, how many times did she escape from him before she was actually? That's why Kid Cudi's car got blown up. It's my understanding he was hiding her out, and Diddy didn't want her talking to him anymore. She tried to leave him. Kim Porter. I mean, it's evidence of that out there. And what does he do? He brings them back like all abusive men do. As far as I'm concerned, the man is a monster and he is where he should be.
Right. And I think like to PW's point, when we talk about like Nesto and the way that he has, see, you have to be careful when you ask people to look, right? You have to be careful when you ask people to examine, because all Sonya has done the entire time is ask us to look at his character. And as we look at his character, it reveals more than she wants us to see. Because when we look at the way, like you said, and I think it's a really awesome point that you brought up about, I wasn't going to sleep with you that night, but you just said, take off your clothes. And like, okay, so he said that. So what that mean? You had to do it, but then think about how that correlates to what I Am Hazel said. And what I Am Hazel said happened to her. You can't tell me that it's a coincidence that out of Sonya's mouth came literally almost the same words. Well, actually, it was the same words like he said to Sonya that I Am Hazel said he said to her, right? It shows that pattern. So if you really want us to look at his character, Sonia, because I know you listening right now. If you really want us to listen to you and look at his character, we are. And what we're discovering, and when I say we, I mean Will Wooten too, because I'm pretty sure my boy Will on the phone. What up, Will? I'm pretty sure Will Wooten on the call right now, listening and figuring all this stuff out. But you know, we have heard what he says, and we've seen the pattern of the things that he does. You haven't, because you're looking at it from rose-colored glasses sitting on the toilet. But we have seen it, and we have heard it. And it's then the pattern that we've seen and heard is that of a sexual abuser. So yeah, we definitely know what he is capable of simply by listening to him because you wanted us to. And that's what we did.
Sanders RN made a good point. She says these people had no choice but to submit after seeing the amount of IV drugs and pills that they were taking during the freak offs. Yes. And Queen Black says by the time they realize what is really going on, it's too late. And Breezy B said, willing takes all the fun out of it. It sure does. In their minds, you can't control someone who's willing.
And
Now,
like you, go ahead, Legacy.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
Well, like Native was saying, about being the power dynamics that does come with a predator or a deviant is, yeah, they need to be able to take it from you. That's the arousal part of it. And
Exactly.
to piggyback with to go back to Faison, I don't know if he's ever been invited to a freak off. I did a quick Google search. He has pictures standing next to Puffy the same way Nesto has pictures standing next to celebrities on his IG. So it's like you probably was never even fortunate enough to be invited, according to him, he's fortunate enough to be invited to a freak off. And for somebody who constantly walks around with their butt crack out, Diddy wants to work for the butt crack. He don't need it shown to him free, willing, nilly. So
I'm going to bed. I'm going to
walking
bed.
freak off, I'm going somewhere here, walking around that freak off with it all out and ashy. Now he might have would have offered him some of that baby oil and handed him some lube in his pocket and sent him on his way. But what you wouldn't about to do is touch the same thing that Diddy was touching.
I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed.
A
I'm going to
lady,
bed, y'all.
a lady says something that just triggered something in my mind. She says, not to mention they were blackmailed in that house that they raided. I don't know how many rooms is in that house. I don't know how big it is. I don't know the square footage, but they said it was 100, I believe 138 cameras in the different rooms. So this means this man can see everything and using video footage to blackmail other probably celebrities who participated. And that's exactly what he was doing. Who needs that many cameras around their home? I mean, me personally, especially if I had a big one like that, hey, front door, back door, and any other door you can get into, and that's it. You don't need in every room. Come on, please.
That's what Diddy was doing, front door, back door, any other room you can get into, just a different way. But I don't know if he was constantly changing those sheets or he just found some. I mean, just to imagine what it takes to get that kind of chemicals out time after time after time. How they wash and dry cycles and all that stuff went. Now he needed to invest in either the sheet company, whatever he was using, the laundry company, and or the washer and dryer company that he was using, all those things. Because despite the nastiness, because he could have easily have just been like a corn maker and still probably use that much. But I need to know what he was using. And granted, that's probably not gonna help NAM victim. Now, and I'm country, I'm victim. But I want to know what they use to clean that stuff with.
Can I just ask one question? I just want to ask one question.
Sure.
PW, who did something to you today? Who did something? Who did who did something to you today? I just want to know. Because you came out firing. Who did something to you today? Did somebody aggravate you today, PW? Please.
Day. I think I had a lot of rest this weekend. It was pretty good.
Okay, all right.
Because she is fiery today.
I'm just saying she came out hitting hard. She came out swinging on Fat Favon. I ain't mad at you.
Bad.
I just want to know, did something happen today? Like, was you stuck in traffic? Did they cancel your layaway? What happened?
And can you imagine the people who had to clean after these freak offs? Can
Yeah.
you imagine that? I mean, double, triple gloves I would have to put on to do that. And people, people don't look at that. They just look at, oh, all he did was have sex with people. Ugh, okay, people that he drugged, men, women. Mm-mm. And now here's what's unfortunate. You know, that one son, and I think maybe it's the one named Justin, you know, he's kind of in some trouble behind this stuff too. I know he hasn't been indicted on anything, but his name keeps coming up. And it has to do something with trafficking the younger girls. And it is in the Little Rod lawsuit along with exhibits. I saw them where there are young girls and him and his father. Just think about that for a minute. I mean, it's bad enough your daddy's a pervert, but you've learned to be a pervert too, and y'all partying together. Ooh, this makes my skin crawl. Just really makes my skin crawl to even think of that. And I
Right.
think it's terrible. And what woman? I looked at a picture today and it was of the family, the kids. And I thought to myself, what woman who has, you know, the little baby, I guess a 1 year old, she's somebody that he has been with a long time. So she knows how he is. I would never let him keep my daughter. Never. Because as far as I'm concerned, he's a pervert. And who knows what he would do. So never. Banks said Lori Harvey, she been to the parties. I would think she was too uppity to go, but you know, that's just my opinion. Um,
No, she dated the son Justin first, and then P Diddy. You remember that little short stint she had when she dated both?
oh, she
Yeah,
sure did. Oh, ew. Now, see,
right.
that really is disgusting. Ugh.
And then went to dinner with Steve because somebody brought it up today again on their show. Went to dinner with Steve. They had that double date. And then I thought to myself, I'm like, well, either Steve, you, and Marjorie might be down for that foolishness, or did P. Diddy have something to blackmail you with for that photo op to make it seem like you and Marjorie was on board with him now dating his daughter? Because it wasn't no double date when she was dating Justin, but suddenly when she with P. Diddy, now, and they had a picture of her really going out with her parents and whoever she was dating, other than that boxer movie dude, whatever he played. But outside of that, I mean, she done dated plenty of guys and hadn't had to be seen with her parents. So yeah, I wonder what that's about.
Oh, I am so glad you brought that up. I had totally forgotten about that. Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
mm,
yeah.
mm, mm. And people don't see that as a problem, and that just makes me look at him, Steve Harvey, like, okay, so he's complicit in a whole bunch of stuff. Your daughter dating a son and then turn around dating a father. That's just back to back. This wasn't even like she dated the son 10 years ago and now she's dating the daddy. This is break up with the son today, date the father tomorrow. Oh, that is just, Bank, you are right. The rabbit hole goes deep with this, very deep. That is disturbing. Lovejoy says, what if he had slipped her some drugs? People chasing for clout get on my nerves. Lori Harvey, she saw dollar signs. That's all. Anybody have to drug her? Just show her a dollar sign. And, you know, she jumped right on it. And her mama and her stepdaddy would co sign it, or adopted daddy, whatever he's supposed to be to her. So a lady says there was a story circulating that Lori had a tape of Steve and Diddy. Mm-mm. You let me find out, because I will be talking about it if I do. Yes, Justin's mom, that is nasty. It is very, very nasty. Mm, mm, mm.
Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, all that.
So, I was going to play the video with the victim, the male victim, whose interview with the police is all of a sudden found itself back in circulation from 2018. But, we've gotten on this topic and it's been really good. So I'll have to, bring that back another day and show it, so y'all could hear his, what do you call it? His interview, his police interview. And everybody thought that this man's story was crazy because they got him because he went into, I don't know if it was a Trump hotel or something, and shot the place up. So, needless to say, when they get him at the police station, they're talking to him, and he starts, talking about how he was sex trafficked by P. Diddy, and this was back in 2018. This happened, and he's telling this story, and that he had sex with Rick Ross and DJ Khaled. That's some very interesting stuff. But it has resurfaced. It's funny how things are starting to resurface. Things that people discredited or said it can't be true, they're starting to resurface, and now everybody's really looking at it like, oh, I guess he wasn't crazy. Just because he went and shot up a hotel doesn't mean his story is not true.
I know what's evident is people don't throw stuff away, and ain't nobody pressing the delete button nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let me
The
tell y'all
real
the other thing. The other thing that's evident is apparently I'm the only straight man left on the planet. Like, 'cause, look, I'm the only heterosexual man left, y'all. So I mean, Lord have mercy. Who else didn't have sex with somebody else? Like, I mean, DJ Khaled, really? He ain't even that famous. Damn. Just saying.
Let me let me get that video. Let me get it. I'll just do, instead of doing the law and crime one, I'll just do the uh the short interview of it, because I have that too somewhere. So I'm going to find that as y'all continue to discuss amongst yourselves, Native and PW, about the situation.
Oh
Let me get
God.
it.
When I was growing up, I didn't know a lot about
Hello,
I don't know
y'all. Why y'all quiet
what
now? Now everybody quiet.
am I still here? Uh-uh.
PW, you're going out on me. You're here, but you
Oh,
keep going out. You keep going out on me.
okay.
Yep,
If that's not,
you're still going out.
I did pay my phone bill.
Yep. How come when black people, when stuff don't work, that's the first thing we say? Did I pay my bill? I used to do stuff like that. My phone ain't working. Did I pay my bill? Oh, for heaven's sakes. We
Um,
do certainly do that.
but I was saying when I was growing up, I did not know. I don't know. Hearing this stuff about P. Diddy and R. Kelly, they did come across my way, but maybe I was just in a naive state to really understand. And none of that really happened locally where I grew up. I grew up in, further south. But as far as I still wasn't the type of person when I grew up. It's like, nah, I don't believe that. Just because it wasn't as prevalent when I was listening to it, it doesn't, I don't know well, I do know where the disconnect does come in, because I understand that I don't know these people and I don't live with these people. Uh, it's not hard to fathom that they can go their everyday life and I don't have a clue as to what they do once I'm done listening to their music. Um,
Right.
so it
Right.
it can't affect me in that way. I never really idolized anybody. Now I loved me some Chris Cross when they was out, but that's about it.
Not crisscross. Is let me see. Is Native still with us? Yeah, he's still with us, unless that internet of his is acting up again, because he's awfully quiet. I was wondering if he was still with us. He's here. I still see him. So here it is.
Look, we will have no native internet slander tonight, okay? We will have no native internet slander tonight, okay? Look, if I make too much noise, folks complain. If I don't make no noise, folks complain. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to draw the line and make
You ain't
everybody.
breathing. Now, long as you not heavy breathing, I'm good.
Oh gosh, yeah. I'm gonna play this right quick. I'm not gonna play what's on Law and Crime. I'm just gonna play. I'm gonna play the version that was posted, I guess, by the New York Post. Share screen. Let me see. Let me make sure I'm sharing my screen because I'll be doing all kinds of stuff up here wrong sometimes. So let me make sure I'm sharing my screen with y'all before I start playing. It don't look like I'm no, because I'm not sharing my screen. Okay, I guess I gotta hit share screen. I thought I just did that. So okay, let me get it. Let me share it. Let me share it. Okay. YouTube share screen. Okay, here we go. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Let me do that again. Stop sharing. Let me do it again. I hope I don't kick myself off of here. Y'all give me a second. Okay, here we go. Let me share it. Get the screen share and then we'll get on it. I just can't believe now here I am trying to do this. I cannot believe the silence of Native. That's what I can't believe. Just sitting up there all silent. Here we go. Yeah, that's the one I want. Okay. Now I've shared my screen and there it is. And we're going to play it.
I'm not sure how
Now
native
I'm also
to
going to.
be how native got to be known to just talk a lot. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how I got that
Well, you
reputation.
see,
Okay.
okay, but Native, you see, I'm up here in silence. So I figured while I'm looking for this video, you would just talk. But
Right.
no, I got to insult you for you to start talking.
I don't know how I got that. Where I get that reputation where I just talk all the time. I don't. I have moments of silence. It happens. It does. It happens a lot.
Okay, but this was not your moment.
Oh, my bad. My bad. My bad. Sorry. Sorry, Legacy Moon. True Crime and Mysteries. My bad.
You can get poked up. Woo!
I had sex with, they told me what to do with Cassie. I had like 15 encounters and I heard lots of business because what they would do is Sean talks a lot on the phone and on TV with people and stuff.
Oh, there. I was getting ready to say it ain't came up on your screen. Um,
I had sex with Cassie and
I'm
Sean.
gonna play it again. I don't want that music in my video because I know how YouTube does. They got me like that one time before, never again. So I'm gonna let y'all hear it again, just a little bit.
Basically, he would
Okay.
he would been telling me what to do with Cassie. I had like 15 encounters and I heard lots of business because what they would do is Sean talks a lot on the phone and on the TV with people and stuff, and I was like a sex slave.
Okay. So that is the man. He had gone and shot up the Trump Hotel, and when they took him in for questioning, that is what he said. So there's that. I hope everybody heard that and saw that. So what you think about that, PW? Since Native is in his silent moment, we'll let you go first.
Excuse me.
Lord have mercy.
I had seen it in whole before, and
Mm-hmm.
usually what happens is those type of people don't get taken seriously because it was obvious he was suffering from some type of mental health episode at that time. Don't know if it was a
Mhm.
full blown disorder that he's had for a long time, or maybe he just, had a break. But either way, sitting in there with the hospital gown still. Um, I'm glad that officer, whoever still did the interview, at least let him talk, because a lot of people would have been cynical toward him and uh,
Mhm.
dismissive and cut it off. But that was some good information, and it was necessary. And he obviously, to me, it seemed like he had been holding that in for quite some time.
Mhm. Yeah.
And yeah, yeah. So I think that whenever people in general who may even seem like they're suffering from a mental health disorder still do not discount what they say. Now, you might
Right.
not follow them down that road, and you might be waiting on them to complete a sentence, and they might go right back to something else or talk about something completely different. But you might have to just piece it together a little bit. But they are doing the best that they can, but they are the ones that either one, it could have been a lot of drugs involved with him, considering, like he said, he was an ex, a worker like that.
Mhm.
No telling how much drugs have been involved in his life in general. But I think it's important to listen. Like I said, I just glad that's, to me, even though does not appear much happened. I mean, it wasn't nothing to follow up when it came to Diddy, but at that time, but I'm just glad that that's still good police work, like following your nose and just letting somebody talk. I mean, he wasn't harming nobody, so just letting them
Mhm.
talk, bothering anybody, and he was already in custody. So I
Right.
appreciate that. But they could be the main ones that are the victims, and you be like, well, why would somebody want to mess with him? He don't seem like he's right. Well, they're the main ones that people won't believe when something does happen.
Mm-hmm.
Hence,
Right.
Nesto thinks that we're going to believe just because if his daughter did suffer or does have a mental health disorder, oh, makes her unbelievable. Well, no,
Mhm.
no, nobody. That's not what that is. Most people, thankfully, and we've come a long way in understanding there's a separation between the two. One don't mean the other. Uh,
Mhm.
they could still be telling 100% truth why they're having a breakdown or why they on recovery or whatever as they get medicated. And that
Right.
guy was medicated, so he really didn't even have it in him to just be going, just be he. And unfortunately, that's the problem. When it's something seems so unbelievable, most people might not believe it. But it's stories like that
Mhm. Now,
that, yeah.
let me answer Gen F. No, that is not the man who is suing for, who just got awarded the 18 um I mean the 100 million dollar settlement.
Oh no.
His name is Derek Cordelio Smith. He is in jail in Michigan for the next 75 years. No, that is not the same man. That's a whole different man. The one who just got that judgment that the lawyers got, I don't know, lawyers went and had that stopped. So, we'll see how that works out in the end. But that guy, his incident happened in the 90s. So no, those are two different men.
Um,
And
I just, I
staying
just
black
want.
in prison now. This guy's he's from somewhere else.
Mhm.
Like he has an accent. He's from somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, they're two different men. Like I said, Diddy has male victims and female victims and
Mm-hmm.
underage victims. So, what was you saying, Native?
I just think it's interesting. Like, one of my favorite movies is JFK. And in JFK, I found out, and actually, so the movie isn't factually correct, but basically about the JFK assassination. And there's a scene where there is a deaf man. He could not hear. Now, he could see, he wasn't blind, okay? He could see, and he told the FBI after the assassination that he saw a man behind the fence, not the book depository, but behind on the grassy knoll, right? He saw the man take a shot, put the shotgun in a bag, hand it to another man, and take it off. Now, you would think that this would have been credible. Do you know that they did not take his testimony seriously because he was deaf?
Yep.
I believe it. I believe
Like,
it.
like it was because not because he was a blind person that was making this up as he thought he heard it. No, he was a man who had sight, and they did not listen to him or find him credible because he was deaf. And this actually was a real person that was actually working that day. And I think that, like, when it comes to like prostitutes and, people have a tendency to discount what you say based on where you stand in society.
Mm-hmm.
That in itself is crazy. That
Mm-hmm.
we would say that like a man, because he can't hear, you didn't see what you saw.
Right.
We could have solved the JFK assassination a long time ago, but because they didn't want to believe certain people, we got the story that we got. And I think that like this is a case where it's like, yeah, sometimes it's those people that you think like are quote unquote off. Them the ones that you got to kind of pay attention to.
Right.
And the fact that we don't, and the fact that we think that that's okay to dismiss people like that is troubling, because what if it was you? What if the only person that saw what happened to you was somebody that was in an altered state, or somebody that was a woman of the night, or somebody that people don't find credible? How is it that a woman's profession makes her credible, or not? You know what I mean? Like, it's
Mhm.
just crazy the way that we think about stuff like that. And I wouldn't want to be in a position where, somebody like that had to be my witness, not because they're my witness, but because I know nobody would believe them.
Right. Right, exactly. I mean, personally, um, he could not hear, but and this is what I heard. I don't know for a fact, but sometimes they say when you're born like that or whatever, your other senses are that much stronger.
Right.
So I would find a lot of credibility in what he saw.
Right. Right. He was behind the fence. He was because there's a railroad behind the fence, and or railway or whatever. He was working that day, and he had a perfect view of the grassy knoll. He saw everything that happened. This is the key to the whole JFK assassination that everybody can't figure out. This man watched the entire thing happen. He watched them set up, he watched them shoot, and he watched them pack the guns away, and he saw the man take the rifle away that killed JFK. So you ain't and when he told this story, they was like, "Oh, okay, whatever, deaf guy," and they just, he just
Just dismissed it. Just
right.
dismissed it. Mm. Sanders RN, thank you so much for the sticker. She asked the question. She says, "Do you think Farnsworth Bentley is going to talk?" Um, I don't know, because I don't know. I don't know enough about his situation with him to answer that. But Native and PW, you could answer that. What do y'all think?
Um, Farnsworth Bentley. I think if they make him, honestly and truly, like, I don't think nobody is going to voluntarily come out and say anything. I think if you hear from anybody, from Farnsworth Bentley to whoever else was around, it's because they are being made to come out. Like, they are being subpoenaed to come out. Like, I don't think anybody's just going to voluntarily step up unless you wrote a fake book. That's all.
I do think that for those who, and I agree, I do think for those who still hold some type of status or technically employable now, still currently, no matter how small or how big a role or they can play as far as with their career, they are going to be very hesitant, and they'll probably have to be treated as hostile, or I will make have them ask them to make it seem like I was struggling and that you really had to make me say something, but I'm gonna
Hmm.
tell you everything you need to know, type thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just make
And
it
we
look good. Make it look good. But whatever you want to know, I'll tell you.
and when that trial does roll around, I certainly hope we don't have another YSL mess like what is going on today with that case. I hope that this case proceeds, the right people come forward and testify, and he gets the sentence that he needs to get. And I really hope somebody looks into what really happened to Kim Porter. I really do. And um another thing is what happened to um what's oh shoot, I can't think of his name. Ah, darn it, I can't think of the name. But I also want to bring up I can't think of his name either. Deal, him. Y'all know who I'm talking about. What's his first name? I know somebody knows. Last name Deal.
Gene.
Yeah, Gene Deal. Thank you so much, PW. Yeah, he's been saying all of the things that he's been saying for years. And I'm glad that he has been talking for years and didn't just pop up with this out of the blue, start talking. He's been giving us stories about all of the things that has gone on in the Diddy cap all along. So in the Diddy arena, I should say, all along. So I don't think he should be discredited by the things that he is saying because he's been saying it. And something else. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Another name that keeps getting thrown around when you hear Diddy's name is Clive Davis, and Clive Davis groomed him. You know, let's say that really happened. Let's say it really happened. It comes a time in your life where you got to look back and say, "Hey, this is wrong. That was wrong. What I'm doing is wrong." And at no time did this man, who is older than me, I didn't know that either, that Puffy is older than me, but um, he never once said, I shouldn't be doing this. This is wrong. Oh, I've got kids. I've got daughters. Let me not do this. You never, so I don't really want to hear anything about Clive Davis grooming him. Not at all. Not at all, as far as I'm concerned.
And what I don't understand about people saying that, well, I do understand why they say it because it seems to be at least partially true. Um, However, when it came out that Diddy already had some issues even when he was in college, it's like you would literally have to know how he grew up to say that the deviant man that we have heard of and that is going to be on trial soon, hopefully sometime soon, has only to do with mainly what he experienced in the music industry.
Hmm.
Because psychologically, people start somewhere. And if
Right.
there's some darkness in you, that probably started somewhere when you were a bit younger. Even when it come to just pushing a limit,
Hmm.
the child had always had to be watched because you was getting into something. I mean, the older you get, doing stuff that is beyond what you need to be doing, that's no longer age appropriate, or being more impulsive when it came to things. And even when he quit college, even though he did go to a better did launch his career, but that was still a bit impulsive.
Hmm.
Um, what was so hard about going ahead and finishing? I mean, it wasn't gonna. I mean, he sounded like he was successful, even though I know people do it. But there's signs of as far as Diddy willing to step outside the line, not necessarily cross boundaries per se. Even though that tale that they said about what happened in college on campus when he was dating that one girl that time, but he stepped, all along. I'm sure there were signs that Diddy was never going to color in the line.
Right.
And when somebody know that they could mold you into something, I'm sure he's long since taken it to a whole nother level. Despite whatever
Hmm.
group they have experienced, I'm sure he's done 10, 15 times worse, more than
Hmm.
ever they could have taught him. Because again, that's just who he is. He's a creator. And I hate to say it, it can work for you in the light and it can work for you in the dark. Diddy
Right.
was gonna, whatever he was taught, he was never gonna stay in those realms because he likes to reinvent himself. He likes to create and he likes to make money. And it always needed to be more, 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 more. And even
Hmm.
somebody who has literal sex dungeons, rooms in the same home where you house your actual children,
Yep.
you really have long been gone. You've been gone. You've been gone.
Hmm.
For
Yeah.
something you say that that's okay for you to do when you can afford, which you obviously could afford, a whole place away from home to do all that?
Well, I'll tell you something. One thing that I'll say for sure, people say that Gene Deal is lying. I believe him quicker than I believe this man who wrote this 60-page fictitious book that a friend of a cousin of a brother of a mother of a sister of a kid of a child
Mm,
of a
mm,
cousin,
mm.
gave to him. I will believe him over that man. That little fictitious mess he did. Breezy B made a good point. Uh, Money and power equal control. And that's what this man did with his money. He tried to control people. And let's also go back again and say that Clive Davis groomed Diddy, and that's why he is the man he is today. Well, if he groomed him, he didn't teach him well, because we don't have RICO cases and victims suing left and right on Clive Davis. So, I'm not buying into that. I am not buying into that at all.
Mm-hmm.
But we have been on here, uh, my usual. What is it? Almost 3 hours. I don't know. But
Nah,
we're gonna wrap this up.
this is not your usual. Your usual is we getting off at 4 o'clock in the morning. That's your usual. So, look, it ain't even 9 o'clock yet. So I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
So we gonna wrap this up. PW, let me get your final thoughts on this.
I think every time a case like this opens up or comes to light, it creates uh, a much needed conversation that can still get lost. And granted, health, what you call it, criminal justice reform does get brought up, and a lot of other things. But at the end of the day, it's helpful for us to know that it's still a problem and to have healthy conversations, because it's obviously that there is a lot of people who are still unaware when they have been victimized.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of people unaware on still how to get help. And there's a lot of people who are unaware of, even if they were victimized, still being able to recognize it in other people, because maybe through things that have gone on in their life, still say things like, "Oh, you shouldn't have been at that party," or "You should have watched that drink," or "You should have this." So the blame game still goes around everywhere, but the perpetrators who need to be the ones held accountable. Can we be safe in places where we go? Absolutely. But that should not take away from the conversation of people are evil out here, and we do not need to sleep on that. And you're going to always have somebody trying to ride the coattail of somebody else's tragedy, such as a Faison. And I would like to say I am not a fat shamer, or I don't mind anybody being thick on the outside is you beautiful on the inside. And he is just an ugly man through and through and through. And there is nobody sitting around waiting for a Faison love to say, I wonder what is on his mind today.
Not at all. Well, I thank you for coming up here and, sharing and giving your point of view. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it too.
No problem at all. Now,
Bye.
Native, bye. Native, if you're out of silent mode now, we will hear your final thoughts.
Yeah. So, what did we learn today? We learned that you can write books without writing books. Nesto, I hope you're listening. There is a much easier way for you to write your book. It's just to make shit up, which you were going to do anyway. So all you really need, sir, is a ghostwriter. You get a ghostwriter, somebody that knows how to spell prominent, someone that knows what a criminal is. You can do all that and create your book. And, feel free to thank me later, okay? Um, I just want to say, to close this thing out, that it's important for us to have conversations about the case at hand. It's
Hmm.
important for us to stop trying to compare what's happening in another courtroom to what's happening in this courtroom, Sonia. I think that it's important for us to be able to look at someone who is a monster and call them a monster, and someone who has ruined people's lives, and not say that they shouldn't be punished because of the color of their skin, but they should be punished based on what they did to these people. So I think that it's important for us to remember the victims. I think that it's important for us to remember um, that these people's lives have been shattered in a lot of cases. When you look at Kim Porter's son, and when you look at, no one asked for this. None of them asked for this. So, I think that what we learned today was that we have to prioritize the way that we think about these high profile cases, and also
Mm-hmm.
remember those people that are not high profile, who are going through things, who are legitimately innocent but just aren't celebrities.
Right. Gen F, the title does say Kim Porter's book of fiction, because that man who wrote the book, first of all, who is he? Second of all, he claims that this he has no manuscript. He claims a friend of Kim Porter's gave him this flash drive of what happened. And, more importantly, the man can't even remember everything in his own book that he allegedly helped pen, based on her journal entries. So it's a lie. And I also, at the beginning, presented what Albie Shore has said about the book and how it is inaccurate, and a friend of Kim Porter's. So the book, it's fiction. The man who wrote it, in my opinion, is not credible. And who is he? And why would somebody give him a flash drive? So yeah, that's all of that's in the beginning. Yeah, go Roro. That book, as far as I am concerned, and as far as friends and family of Kim Porter are concerned, the book is not truth. It's not the truth at all. It is true that she was working on a book before she passed, but it was not, that book that is out is not the book that she was working on. So that's all I have. Were you done, Native?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You guys, please don't forget to thumbs up the video on the way out if you did not do that. I do encourage, for those of you who came in late, to go back and rewind and watch from the beginning, all of the things that took place. And, you know, just, and I'm going to put a link to the video that I played um, with the male victim who's was being interviewed by the police. I'm gonna link that in the description so you guys can go back to that um, if you'd like. But yep, that's all I have. I am going to drop this music. I appreciate everyone who is here. Thank you for all the stickers. You could have been anywhere else this evening, but you were right here with me, and I certainly appreciate it. Good night.